Hi, welcome to the ninth episode of the B Movie Club. This week we're going to be talking about 1985's Weird Science. For those of you just joining us for the first time, the B Movie Club is supposed to be kind of like a book club where early in the week, via Twitter or Facebook, I'll tell you what movie I'm going to be discussing, and then you can take the time to find it on Netflix, or if you already have it, you can rent it or whatever, buy it, watch it. You can comment on your opinions of it, and I'll give you my opinions at the end of the week. Another thing I've been doing this last couple weeks is midweek I've been putting either a trailer up on Twitter or Facebook, or I might put up one of my favorite scenes. This week I put up the infamous bar scene up on Facebook and Twitter. So one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema, I'd say. So I hope you enjoyed that. Weird Science, 1985, starring Kelly LeBrock, Anthony Michael Hall, and Ilan Mitchell-Smith, and Bill Paxton. Basic premise is you have these two nerdy guys, high school age, who no one pays them any attention. They have no friends. They can't get a date. So they go about basically creating their own date through their computer, and through the magic of movie making, they actually wind up creating a real person who is played by model Kelly LeBrock. And they're like 14 and 15 years old. And she's like 23, so, and she has powers. She can like create things and affect the world around her. So she's able to do a lot of fun stuff. Then of course you see how she interacts with them. She takes the guys to that crazy bar, and then they go to the mall. And they throw a party and all their wild antics. Uh, it's funny because John Hughes wrote this script in like 2 days, and he was adamant about not directing it. He was not a big fan of the project. The studio got him to direct it by saying, "Look, if you direct Weird Science, we'll let you do this other movie that you're all enthusiastic about," and that turned out to be Breakfast Club. So he agreed to direct it. This is actually his second movie. His first, of course, was 16 Candles, and it's funny because Anthony Michael Hall was in John Hughes' first three movies, and he was basically playing the John Hughes role. Anthony Michael Hall, all of his roles were basically John Hughes' childhood. Basically, that's how he viewed himself. He was actually Anthony Michael Hall was offered roles in both Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Pretty in Pink, but he turned them down because he didn't want to be typecast. Yeah, a little late, I'd say. He plays Gary in this movie. Kelly LeBrock, like I said, she was a model, and when they called her to be in this movie, she actually was having so much fun on the beach, living the life of supermodels that she wasn't. She almost turned it down, but she later changed her mind. The other guy, Wyatt, his name is, I guess, Ilan Mitchell-Smith. He didn't do a whole lot before this or after this, and I looked it up. He's actually an English professor at Cal State Long Beach to this day. So there you have it. If you're taking any classes out there, you might run into him. So John Hughes wasn't enthusiastic about it. None of the guys were particularly enthusiastic about it. They didn't think it was going to be a hit, and you know what? It was obviously a huge hit. And I'll tell you what, I find it funny that John Hughes really didn't want to do it, because I think that bar scene maybe I'm a broken record, but I would put that bar scene up against any scene in The Breakfast Club, and I like The Breakfast Club, uh, but it gets a little heavy sometimes with all the melodrama and you know all the kids sitting around. Oh, my life is so horrible. There's also those teenage angst moments with Judd Nelson, his family's mean, and what's her name? Molly Ringwald. Her mom is an alcoholic, and you know, Emilio Estevez is, he has pressure, being a wrestler and everything. It's like, I don't need these long, drawn out melodramatic scenes where they're crying about blah, blah, blah. Luckily, Weird Science doesn't have too many of those scenes. I don't think it has any, frankly. Closest it comes to it are those scenes where the guys are in the dark, in their dark room, talking to the girls who eventually become their girlfriends about, their life, and, with a little bit of soft 80s music in the background. Good times. So overall, I give it a big thumbs up. Um, it is available on Netflix. Not available streaming live, at least not right now. The thing I've discovered is that usually I say um, whether or not it is streaming live. I discovered later that it really just depends. It changes from time to time. They don't have the same movies streaming live on Netflix. So take it with a grain of salt. Right now it's not streaming live, but at some point it might be. So if you're watching this at some future date, go ahead and check Netflix. Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 56% rotten. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It is a classic. So, that's Weird Science. You can send me any questions or comments through Twitter. I'm at KD9575. I'm on Facebook. Next week, we're going to be doing Kurt Russell's Finest, Big Trouble in Little China. I know I just did Tango and Cash a couple weeks ago. Another movie of his, The Thing. We're going to be doing that later along. But next week, Big Trouble in Little China. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. See it this week and send me any questions or comments. And as I can say, like I say, every episode, every damn night on the telephone. Thank you for joining.